Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears. I come to bury Caesar, not to praise him. It seemed fitting for me to continue the line that I always quote, starting off the podcast, as today we have a bit of a morbid subject matter, which is celebrity deaths. We can talk specific ones that impacted us, or just the subject as a whole. So, let's just get to it. My name is Sean.
And my name is Max.
And this is CinemaTalk.
Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Okay, I will admit, that was an appropriate use of that quote.
Thank you. I think it was too. I'm still going to use it next time, even if it doesn't fit, because I really like that play, especially that speech.
And there's nothing I can do to stop you, right? There's really nothing.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
I'll just give up now.
Yep, just give up now. So, welcome everyone to CinemaTalk, official podcast of RuleThirds.com. As opposed to all the unofficial ones, our fan base just does all these podcasts. It's quite annoying how many people we have doing podcasts about our content. Everyone's talking about it. I couldn't even say that with a straight face. So, before we get into our subject, on the lighter side, let's talk about the content that's up on the site. The last Cinema Talk we had was Cinema Talk The Kids, which is a weird title, but it's about like kids entertainment, kids movies specifically, because it's a movie podcast. We do talk kids entertainment in general. And then we also have the very passionate Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles review.
Oh my god, it's so emotional. It's just I know, I'm
Max,
still recovering.
You thought Pacific Rim. You thought Pacific Rim got heated. You thought Man of Steel. No. Max and I get furious. It's complete. We're totally indifferent. But the review itself, I think, still turned out well. So watch that. And coming up so soon, in just a few days after posting, Preview Episode 10. So keep an eye out for that, but it won't be there when this goes live.
And also the return of Barry.
Oh yeah, Barry's... Gary?
Doesn't matter at this point.
It does not matter at this point.
Yeah.
Larry? No, that's stupid. Anyway, let's get to the...
Who would name their kid Larry?
I know. So, it's good that we got some laughs. We have kind of a downer topic. I mean, it's not a super downer, but with the recent passing of comedy legend Robin Williams, we wanted to... Well, I brought up the subject. We want to talk about celebrity deaths. Because I always find them very interesting, because it's almost always people we don't know, yet we always feel affected by it. It's just this totally weird backwards reaction you wouldn't expect. Like, you hear about, like, people die all the time, we don't care, but just because someone made movies that we enjoy, we suddenly care. It's a very odd dynamic, so I wanted to discuss that.
If you ask me. I don't think it's odd at all.
Ooh, okay.
Because,
okay.
See, that was recorded. See, with celebrities... I mean, usually, and it's not always, but usually they give us something back. They give us great memories. Maybe not directly, but when Robin Williams is the genie, or when Robin Williams is Mrs. Doubtfire, when Robin Williams is the kid from Jumanji, he plays a character, and for good or for ill, sometimes it sticks in your mind, and sometimes it's a really good memory. So when that person dies, as with everybody else on this planet, I mean, it's kind of sad.
Wait, what? We all die?
Yeah. Bad news. We're all going to die someday. Yeah, it's...
Spoilers. Jeez. Sorry, I'm trying to lighten this up because this will be kind of... I mean, it's not going to be depressing, but... Okay, so I get that. Like, definitely, Aladdin was one of my favorite movies growing up, and, like, it's funny. I was thinking about this earlier. I had never really seen comedic relief until Genie, you know?
Yeah.
So for me, whenever there's a comedy relief character, I was thinking, oh, it's that movie's Genie. So it's funny that Robin Williams, for me, was the first comedy relief in a movie. I can't say I watched too many more Robin Williams movies, but I love a lot of his stand-up.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I wouldn't say I wasn't indifferent. I liked Robin Williams a lot. I liked his work.
Yeah, the dude was a nerd icon. Like he really was.
True.
I can't say that I was a huge fan of his work, but I respected the man a whole lot. And honestly, I mean, I'm not gonna. I think I'm not gonna say I never really watched his stuff anyway, because he certainly had a personality and he certainly had a style. I think honestly, what the big thing behind this, Sean, is that this death specifically was something that contrasted with who he was so much that it really did send a ripple effect. Not only were people
Sure.
sad at the notion that it was like, it was Robin Williams, but they were also sad at the notion that this was a silly comedic guy who left in such a tragic way.
Right.
So that might be also why people are so sad over it, because it reminds them
Yeah.
that we're still in a cynical world, no matter how many times we laugh or make them
right,
laugh.
and that's kind of that was really shocking. I mean, when I learned that, like, that initial shock always happens, right? Like, wow,
it's like, what?
this big name person.
It's probably one of
died,
those
but-
Twitter things. That's my first
Yeah,
reaction.
like that's another thing we should briefly mention. Like, that is something that upsets me. Like, how many times has Bill Cosby died?
How many times?
according to
I'm
Twitter?
going to say Tom Kenny has died twice from Twitter.
Oh yeah, Tom Kenny thing too. So yeah, that's definitely a thing, and I bet that's just it's just because it's so easy to gain traction. You know, celebrity deaths are like, oh, gossip and talk about, so it's so easy to get a rumor started there. But I can't go any more depth on that. It's just people being stupid and spreading rumors.
Yeah.
So, but it is a good thing to address. Like, yeah, the fake celebrity deaths thing, it happens for a reason, and that's kind of what we're talking about this whole time. Is why do we care? Why are celebrity deaths a thing? So yeah, the Robin Williams thing was shocking for sure, just in the how, the details, not just the fact that he died. See, the thing about me and celebrity deaths is that kind of my overarching thing is that why they're so weird to me is that celebrities are omnipresent. Like, they're just, about them. They're always there, but they're always they're such a removed thing. I never met Robin Williams. I never saw him. I never, like, nothing. I've seen some celebrities, I guess, and I've met, like, one? I shook Obama's hand.
Oh, really?
So that's,
What the hell? When did that happen? You never told me that.
There was a rally nearby during, like, his first run or something, and I went out, and because they like the kids, we got pushed up to the front. Anyway.
Nice.
I did not mean to brag. I was just like, so what I mean is, like, it's such a removed thing. It's like Robin Williams was not a person in my mind. Like, it was just like this figure. I never met this removed, omnipresent thing. Robin Williams has always been there. Every celebrity has always been there. So when suddenly they're not, it's really weird because you never consider it. Robin Williams is never going away. He's Robin Williams. People die. Celebrities don't because they're not people. Oh, right.
Yeah.
Like,
that's the thing, though. Celebrities most certainly are people, and I think a lot of regular people like you and me forget about that. I try my best not to, but sometimes I can get carried away.
But the thing is that, like, you get what I'm saying? Like, they're so removed, yet they're so present.
Yeah.
There's always Robin Williams. He's always doing something. And there's always any big celebrity. And that's what's weird. Like, right now, there's tons of celebrities that are just there. I don't really think about too much. I enjoy their work every once in a while. And when they eventually die, it's going to be kind of shocking. Like, but like, why? Why is it shocking? It's just weird that all of a sudden that's gone. Like, you take it for granted. And that's not in, like, oh, they meant so much to me. I can't believe they're gone. Like, it's just you take it for granted that they're there. It's just this thing.
Yeah.
Is Robin Williams there? Yes.
See, I think I wouldn't say every celebrity death is shocking because, like, for example, I think it was maybe a day after Robin Williams' death. Lauren Bacall, who was a famous actress, she died, but she was 89 when she died, and she had, like, already had a prestigious career and everything, and, like, she wasn't omnipresent anymore.
Right. To be fair, that's still, like, noteworthy. She was a really big deal. She was one of the premier actresses of the era. So, like, that's a big deal. And a lot of old age stuff, like, it's not as shocking. Sure. And I don't mean shocking as in, like, how did that happen? But I mean shocking in just, like, oh, right. Like, this presence that you never actually knew personally is now gone. Like, everyone's talked about, like, Stan Lee, super old and just beloved by everyone. Yeah. And he does not seem to show, I don't know why, he just does not seem to be old to me.
Yeah, he doesn't. It's
But
weird. He's like
90.
92. Like not even kidding. He's in, like, so many movies, and he's not even in retirement. He's still making stuff. He's a voice actor on the Spider-Man cartoon. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, so, like, that's still going to be really jarring.
Yeah, the death of Stan Lee is going to be...
Yeah, it's going to be really jarring. Even if, like, I cannot... Like, I've talked about this before with friends and stuff. Like, I could not imagine a better last few decades of your life. Like, right now, his entire life's work is being validated by everyone. Yeah. Like, I mean, he'd been successful in the comics industry, but now his creations are, like, the thing.
Yeah, Bob Kane didn't get that.
Awesome.
Max Fleischer. Wait, no, not Max Fleischer. No, that's... the two guys who made Superman, they didn't see that.
Yeah. So anyway, that's gonna be wrong. But old age thing is different because yes, Lauren Bacall. Also, I'm very surprised. It's that kind of thing. Celebrity deaths happen in threes. It's that old superstition.
Yeah.
I
thought that superstition started with Michael Jackson.
Really, I thought it was a little older than that.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, if you haven't heard, there's a superstition, which of course I don't subscribe to at all. Celebrities die in threes, and so when Lauren Bacall passed away, I really was like, wait, what's this third one going to be? And luckily, nothing has happened that I know of yet. And of course, like I'm not saying like, oh, it's destined, just wait. But yeah, that is kind of an interesting.
Let's all
thing.
wait
Also,
for somebody that entertained us to die. Yeah,
that's actually one of my favorite 30 Rock jokes about this, where a celebrity dies, and so one of the characters, Tracy, who's a celebrity. No, two celebrities die. And so they're waiting for the third. And so Tracy, who's a celebrity, is terrified that he's next. And so he calls up Betty White and tries to make her have a heart attack.
I remember this episode.
Yeah, it's a really funny joke. And Betty White is wonderful.
Yeah.
But anyway, that again, I'm just trying to lighten it, bring in 30 Rock. So I want to bring up a few specific celebrity deaths just because they're recent. So the most recent one, yes, we started with Robin Williams. I'm glad we discussed that. That's really good. That's what sparked this. It's what people are talking about. But also, recently as well was Philip Seymour Hoffman, who was a heroin overdose, correct?
Yeah, something, some kind of drug overdose.
So that was very similar for me. Like I'm not like I was never a huge fan of him, but I didn't dislike him. Like I saw him in movies, he was very good in them. But it's not like, you know, I have actors that I really enjoy watching any movie. He wasn't one of them. I'm not saying that he's bad at all. He's great, but it was still kind of shocking because again, Philip Seymour Hoffman's always there. You know, that's I'm going to keep coming back to that. Like it's just so weird for someone to just be gone like that, and. I don't know. What was your response to the Philip Seymour Hoffman?
Oh well, I mean, it was extremely sad. Like it was the day of the Super Bowl, wasn't it? If I'm not mistaken.
I don't remember.
But yeah, it was. It was in that early February, and yeah, it was really sad, and it was.
Yeah.
You know, like around my film school, it was like it's really weird. Like we just lost this immensely talented actor. It was like.
Oh yeah, he's incredibly talented.
Yeah, like so. I mean, but with Hoffman's death, it didn't. It seemed like a lot more of like a serious accident. Like it was like not, it was an overdose, which is like always the worst way to die. Like that's how Heath Ledger died. It was of sleeping pills, if I'm not mistaken. Overdose.
Yeah, don't worry, we'll get to Heath Ledger.
Yeah, and with that in mind, like, but see the difference between that and Robin Williams is that Robin Williams' death was completely conscious, and and it also was because Hoffman was a very serious actor. Robin Williams was very comedic. It comes back to that very jarring irony. It's true. It truly is dramatic irony in the worst sense.
That's the thing. I wasn't that surprised. Right? Like, okay, Hollywood. There's a drug problem in Hollywood. A lot of big actors have drug addictions. So it's not like I was like, oh yeah, Philip Seymour Hoffman. Of course, that guy does drugs. Like, I wasn't like, of course he does drugs, but it wasn't shocking. You know, like I wasn't that surprised.
I was surprised because he was in the middle of something so big. Like he was. His career was huge. Why would you ever want to find why would you ever?
Well, because that's not how addiction works. That's another problem. Yeah. That's a whole other topic.
We don't want to.
Not movie related. We don't want to open up that can of worms. Yeah. So, but yeah, like it wasn't that like surprising. Like it happens. You know, it's an unfortunate thing that this happens. Actors are addicted to drugs. Drug users overdose and it kills them.
And actors are also depressed. Depression is a very serious
something with
issue.
Robin Williams, like that was way more shocking to me.
I think it's also because it takes a lot of heart to laugh at all things in life, because honestly, I've heard an old saying that like comedians are usually the saddest people on earth because they have nothing left to do but laugh at all the absurdity. So, because they've lost all their their faith in the good in the world. So, I mean, I wasn't that surprised so much as I was so concerned. I mean, Robin Williams is was an incredible comedian, and the fact that apparently he had not told anyone about this. The man had actually gone to rehab for drug problems and whatnot. So, and I mean that had been taken care of, but this was something on a completely different level. This was, it's just really sad that he had not came forth about this. Like,
Yeah, but it's kind of all hindsight is 2020.
Yeah. It's true. Now, Sean, are there any just to get out? there any celebrity deaths that you particularly associate with? Any? Because I can think of one.
Well, not associate with, but one of the bigger ones for me, it's not, well, it's kind of film related, but not really, was Steve Jobs. Because that was, like, again, I say this over and over, but he was like, because I was a huge Apple fan, I mean, I was still like Apple stuff, but I was, at the time he died, I was such a big Apple nerd, to put it lightly. It's not like I have a piece of Apple stock literally framed in my room.
What?
Yeah. Anyway, so that was really surprising when he died. So that's one of the bigger celebrity deaths that impacted me, just because, like, all my stuff was Apple stuff. Like, this guy, he was a complete genius, and he revolutionized the tech industry, and I love technology. It's the most exciting part of, the future, I guess, looking forward. And so it was a big deal for me. Like, this isn't movie related, so I don't want to, like, linger on it too long, but that would be the one that I think I most, like, noted. It didn't, again, I don't know these people. I never met Steve Jobs. It didn't, like, affect me at all, but it was affecting just how surprising it was, and just the loss of such a huge influential figure, more than most actors. Like, he changed so much about how technology is now. So yeah, that's really the biggest celebrity death for me that, like, actually affected me. What about you, Max?
Honestly, it wasn't actually a death that happened in my lifetime. I was one night. I was really curious, so I looked up some videos of the televised funeral or memorial service for Jim Henson, because I'm a huge Muppets fan. Oh God, yes. Oh God, that was so sad. That was so sad because, I mean, for one thing, it's just, Jim Henson. I look up to him so much, and he's the father of, like, my, like, the Muppets is a very, very personal thing for me. It's very important to me. So, and just to see that happen, like, to read this story of this man who just basically just up and died. Like, what's funny is actually the last film that he ever, like, worked on was the 1990 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. Actually, yeah, that film premiered a few months before he died. But it was like, and I think the real thing, though, I think out of all of it was televised. They had all the other puppeteers come out and sing this song called "Just One Person," which is it's a very sad song for that occasion. But it was them. You could see them doing the puppetry, like, right in front of everybody, and it kind of, not only was Jim Henson dead, it kind of just broke the whole illusion for me. Like, say what you will about the Muppets guys, they do a great job of, like, kind of hiding the fact that they are actually being controlled by puppeteers, or Muppeteers, I guess. So, like, just to see that, like, not only was Jim Henson dead, but also the Muppets illusion was sort of dead too. Even though it's not anymore, well, almost not dead. But it's just sort of, it made me cry, honestly. I had not cried in a long time, but yeah, I cried at that because it hurt so much to see that guy go in such a terrible way. That I mean, even though it wasn't in my lifetime, it was still like, ouch.
Yeah. I can see that. That you've talked about it many times. You're tied to the Muppets, and so that makes sense. I'm actually not. I don't know if I want to pry. I'm not actually aware of Jim Henson's death. What happened? Let's see. It was of, I remember what the disease was, but he died in 1990. He was, like, I think he was in his 50s. He was, he was still hard at work at stuff. It was long after the Muppet Show had ended. I don't remember what the disease was, but it took him, like, pretty quickly. So yeah, it was, oh God, it was really sad. Like, it was even it was a sketch that went around, like that death was actually really big. I'd say it was even bigger than, like, Robin Williams' death, because it was the death of a childhood icon. And sure,
like, there was actually a picture that circulated around. You can find it now of there's a picture of, it's a black and white picture of Mickey and Kermit actually sitting together. Kermit, it looks like he's just like a wreck. It's their backs are turned to the camera, the camera, end quotes, and, like, Mickey's got his arm around Kermit while he's just kind of there, just crying, and it's really, really sad. And it's also kind of weird because eventually Disney did get the Muppets rights. So but Jim Henson died in 1990, and it was, it's really weird. I grew up, literally from the day I was born, Jim Henson was dead, and yet his creations were still very important to me. Or they still are. So, I don't know, I don't know, just watching that funeral was just like, it was like as if I should have been, I should have been familiar and, like, been around when Jim Henson was alive to get that experience of was feeling so sad, but no, this was like 20 years later. Hurt, Sean, really hurt. Anyway, I'm sorry I went on, but
no, that's good. It's good. I feel like I've been talking too much. I'm glad you got to get in your personal anecdote, I guess you'd call it. I don't know.
yeah.
So yeah, I don't have anything like that important, but one of the biggest celebrity deaths, because one of the biggest celebrities ever, what you brought him up earlier, was Michael Jackson.
Yeah. So it's weird. I always have a where were you mentality with that. Like, do you remember where you were when you heard the news?
I do. I know. I literally know exactly. It was the worst summer of my life.
Oh, Jesus.
Because this is going to sound really funny. We're talking about celebrity deaths. And when I say worst summer of my life, you're expecting something really, really tragic. Don't. It was just my sister and I were doing a lawn mowing thing, and it was just not fun at all.
It was that kind of worst summer. We're just like,
it was that kind of worst summer. Like I got a great summer job. I had a great summer job this summer. Like this summer was awesome, but it was that summer. And I remember I mowed a lawn, and I actually know the street it was on. It had a really terrible hill. It was a pain to do. But anyway, I wrapped up, and then I looked at my phone, and I had a text, and it was from a friend of mine who watches the podcast, and just last night said, it's always cool when I'm listening to your podcast and you mention me, even if you don't say me by name. It's cool, so you're welcome. I'm doing it again. I texted from him that said, MJ is dead, and he was a huge Michael Jackson fan, still is. And so I text back like, wait, what? Like, because, okay, again, this was Michael Jackson. Like, that doesn't seem possible. It's like, wait, no, that's, are you talking about like some internet skit? Are you talking about like, and then it's like, no, MJ is dead. Michael Jackson's dead. So that's how I learned. I got a text message from a friend of mine. And I have to say, I'm in that boat of people that did not care, and then after his death, got into a lot of his music. I'm not ashamed to admit that. Like, I just didn't listen to his music at all. So yeah, that's why I learned. Where were you?
I was actually in the car with my dad in traffic going to San Francisco so I could get a haircut, and we just heard it on the radio, and I'm like, wait, what? Yeah. Like, it was like, wait a minute. No, I was a few years before that, I actually got into Michael Jackson music a whole lot. He's a damn good musician. Damn
yes,
good.
Definitely.
Like,
I'm a huge fan of Smooth Criminal.
Mm-hmm. It's
especially my favorite of his.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing is, I mean, he was, I then kind of like fell out of it, and I'm not really, the way he died was actually really sad, but at the same time, like, but it did kind of, his death kind of highlighted the kind of like, I wouldn't say hypocrisy, but the kind of strange irony of people that shat on him for like the latter half of his career, suddenly like coming out and saying, "Oh man, I miss him so much. He was such a legend."
That's the thing. I'm not in that boat.
Yeah, me neither.
People hated him. They disowned him. He's a creep. He's worthless. He hasn't done anything valuable in decades. And then as soon as he died, like, oh, the death of a legend will be met. No, screw that.
Yeah.
That's upsetting. That's any celebrity death, where like all of a sudden people like just now all of a sudden they're the greatest thing ever.
Mm-hmm.
Like that upsets me.
Yeah.
Now I have no problem with that. Kind of reminded me of Michael Jackson, and I listened more of his music. Like I don't feel bad about that because before I was just neutral. I knew some of his songs, of course. I knew who he was, but I didn't like get that into him. That's fine. But yeah, Michael Jackson especially. It is funny how quickly, how good of a career move it turned out to be. How much it helped his music, his legacy, because there were horrible accusations. I'm not going to say if they're true or not. I don't know.
Yeah. There
were horrible accusations going around about him. He was, again, like, people calling him a freak. People were calling him, worthless, and just this creepy guy that had some good music decades ago. And so it was interesting how quickly it turned around. And what was actually sad about that is that, have you seen the movie, it's good to tie back to film, it's a movie podcast, This Is It?
No, I haven't actually, no.
It's quite good. It doesn't start very good, but it gets very good. And if people don't know, it's a documentary following the prep work for his comeback tour. That it was in the rehearsal stages about to happen at the time of his death. And it's really great because obviously it's going to be really biased towards him. It was made as like this love letter to him after his death. But it was really interesting to see someone, like, he was going to make a comeback. So it's weird that his death, his albums sold a lot after his death, but I think he would have came back anyway. And so it really was really bad timing because I think he was going to come back. So it was kind of after the fact. It meant more to me than when it happened. You know, I didn't care too much about Michael Jackson's death at the time. But yeah, definitely after, it's kind of like, man, he did a lot of great music. So, and that one's, yeah, like, again, he was, especially near the end of his life, he was more in the public eye for not his music. So that's always different. Because this whole time we've been talking about, like, you know, especially like Robin Williams. What is everyone talking about with Robin Williams? His movies as a kid, his movies got me through this, his comedy with this. Philip Seymour Hoffman, what a talented actor. Like, when a beloved actor or celebrity dies, it's usually like, you know, because of their work, we miss them because of this. But people that it's not really the work anymore that they're known for, like Michael Jackson, it's kind of different. Celebrity death, it's kind of awkward in a way.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like you were saying, the people that afterwards, or maybe I was saying that were just, oh, Michael Jackson was a genius. Like, yeah, after the fact. Like, death puts everything through a rose-colored lens.
Yeah, and I think it's important. I've seen this around on Twitter, especially in the wake of Robin Williams' death. We should really remember to respect those, you know, the celebrities today, like not just when they die, because it seems that people just kind of don't say anything until people die, and then that gives them an excuse. Yeah, I hate that. And I fall prey to that all the time. Like, there are celebrities out there that I wish I would just be more like, you know, he's really like for example, one of the most famous game designers ever, video game designers ever, Shigeru Miyamoto. It's like he's from what I understand, he is nearing retirement, not death, retirement. And you know, I think we all, you know, and I think the game community could really use some more helpings of absolute like respect for him, because he's such a brilliant man, and he's so like, he changed everything. But it just seems like he's not, you know, just like he just appears in the news. It's kind of like a buzzword now, and it's like, I think that goes the same for a lot of people, like Steven Spielberg. Like, people just don't really like understand the fact that he has changed filmmaking as we know it. George Lucas,
yeah, he gets so much crap.
When he dies, people are going to be like, "Oh man, he's the man who created Star Wars, and I'm gonna miss him forever."
Well, that's
they
the thing.
shit on him for years.
I will never deny George Lucas is a brilliant, like, his imagination is absolutely brilliant. I don't think he was a great director for the prequels. Yeah, he's incredibly ambitious. I don't think he did a great job directing.
So, say what you will about the prequels. They were they weren't like slapped together. He had a legitimate story to tell, and even if,
oh yeah, definitely. I have a lot of respect for George Lucas.
Yeah, but
no matter what I think of his skills at directing the prequels or writing the prequels.
I think it comes from the idea that because they're not people, they're just kind of things you can just throw, you know.
Right, exactly.
It's like you could say, like, this glasses case is broken and just a piece of crap. Well, I mean, you know, because it's an inanimate object. You know, it's not a person. It won't say anything back at you. Doesn't have feelings or anything. I think people honestly get that same sort of mentality with celebrities. Like, sure, they're not going to get, they're not going to hear me, so I can just say they're awful and whatever. And then when they actually die, it's like, especially in Robin Williams' case, it came from depression. It came from, maybe he didn't really understand the kind of impact that he had made on millions of people's lives.
Yeah, that's definitely a good thing to bring up, because we do have, like, yeah, it's, again, we don't meet celebrities. We don't know celebrities personally. And so, yeah, I go on and on about M. Night Shyamalan. You know, I hate a lot of his movies. I don't think he's a good filmmaker. And yeah, like, I feel like I'm not in the wrong to be calling this out and stuff like that. But I'm not making it personal. You know? Yeah. Like, I'm not tweeting at M. Night Shyamalan these hurtful, hate-filled things about how he ruined The Last Airbender. Which he did.
Do people actually do that?
Oh yeah. Yeah, Twitter is, you will never find a more wretched hive of scum and villainy.
Yeah, really. I mean, just imagine if Michael Bay had a Twitter account. Oh, Jesus.
He does.
Does? Oh, yeah. No.
Right, again, that's another thing. Michael Bay, I don't think, is a deep filmmaker. I think he's a good filmmaker. I don't think he's a good storyteller. Which some would argue is the same thing. I do not. But again, I never personally attacking him. Now, personal attacks, he has some opinions I disagree with, but I would never personally attack him, because celebrities are people.
Yeah.
You know, I don't go out of my way to call out celebrities. That's something we should definitely talk about. We should definitely kind of just acknowledge, like, really, celebrities, just acknowledge their work.
Yeah, and the thing is,
you don't know them as people.
Yeah, the thing is, like, people, you know, somebody, like, a celebrity does something, and then it's something small, it's like one reaction. It's like one reaction to something, and maybe it's not something you'd agree with. all of a sudden, all my respect for that person's gone down the toilet. Even though...
Now, I would say, I know who you're thinking of. I'm thinking of the same person, Max. I would say that in some cases, the way people handle themselves, I can lose respect, even if I don't care about the work. There's a specific person that the internet's kind of been going on about lately that I have no respect for because of some of their actions and attitudes. And I don't think I'm in the wrong for that because I've gotten enough of a picture to judge that.
Yeah.
But the people that are like, M. Night Shyamalan, you ruined my favorite TV show, you're a horrible person, no. Or Michael Bay, you made Transformers stupid, you're a horrible person, no. That I totally disagree with. So, yes, we totally are talking about the same people. Don't worry, guys. We didn't just cut out an argument about someone I really dislike. That didn't happen, right, Max?
No, that didn't happen, Sean.
No, it totally didn't happen. So, next, I wanted to quickly talk... That got a little rambly. But I want to wrap up with one of definitely the most talked about and just kind of shocking celebrity deaths of the past, I guess, decade. And that was Heath Ledger. You brought him up.
Yeah.
Now, this is I want to bring this up for a few reasons. First, it was really a big deal. Like this was the story of the year almost in terms of celebrity news. And this has, like, we talked about, Michael Jackson's music got a huge bump when he died. The Dark Knight made over $1 billion. And that is so much more than Batman Begins. You have no idea.
And that partially had to do with...
yeah, it had a huge part to do with Heath Ledger's death.
But also the fact that he was playing the Joker. He wasn't playing, like, some supporting character. Like, he wasn't playing Two-Face. He wasn't playing any of that. No, he played the Joker. The Batman villain. And then he died.
And then he died after doing the role. Yeah, listen, look, Batman Begins... earned $374 million worldwide. $374 million.
That's not bad.
It's not bad, no.
But it's not $1 billion.
But then The Dark Knight, gets just over $1 billion.
$274 million. That's not cool. You know what's cool? $1 billion.
$1 billion. Nice. So yeah. Another thing about Heath Ledger's death, like this kind of leads to it. Yes, the movie did phenomenally well. I think in a large part because of it, and that's something that a lot of conspiracy people grab onto, and I hate that.
People actually have conspiracies about Heath Ledger's death and the Dark Knight?
I don't know if it necessarily Heath Ledger's death, but like Michael Jackson still being alive is a thing.
Elvis.
Oh yeah, of course Elvis is. Well, yes, Elvis is alive.
Yeah, I think Elvis is. I think Elvis, if he was still alive after his death, he would still be dead now because of old age, right?
Yeah, that's probably true. And then of course Paul McCartney has been dead for a long time. There's that whole conspiracy.
No,
anyway.
I just saw his clone at Candlestick Park the other day. Yeah, I just saw...
Oh, yeah, you went. You lucky. He was in Missoula, which is nearby here, but I didn't see him. Anyway, what I was getting to is exploiting celebrity deaths is something I wanted to kind of end with. And Heath Ledger's a good example. Not like any fault of the movie, but the movie naturally kind of exploited it. And that wasn't their fault at all. I think the marketing would have focused on Heath Ledger's performance anyway, because it's an amazing performance. And it had a lot of buzz even before his death. So, okay, I didn't want to tweet this, but as soon as I heard about Robin Williams' death, just wait for the next Night at the Museum 3 trailers to have a ton of Theodore Roosevelt. Just wait. I'm going to say it right now.
Yep.
So much. That kind of bothers me. Hunger Games Mockingjay. First trailer came out. Who is talking through 80% of the trailer?
I never noticed
Philip
that.
Seymour Hoffman.
Huh.
Yeah. However, I think in the case of Mockingjay, it was really good dialogue to use for the trailer.
Yeah.
I think it was like, it worked really, really well, but it definitely didn't hurt to have such a respected actor recently passed to be the first trailer for your movie.
Yeah. You know, while we're talking about like actors and explaining them, I'd never heard of Heath Ledger before The Dark Knight, or before his death.
Yeah, me neither.
Now, here's a question. Did the
people,
trailers for The Dark Knight use Heath Ledger as the Joker a whole lot to the point where it feels exploitative? I know the trailers, I know,
personally, I love the Dark Knight trailers, especially I think the second one is one of my favorites, and I would say that it wasn't exploitative because we're talking about, we brought up Mockingjay, we brought up Night at the Museum, which I'm almost positive is going to happen. Okay, I haven't seen the film, obviously, but Theodore Roosevelt is probably not going to be a huge part of 9th Museum 3, Secret of the Crypt 2? Whatever.
Yeah.
No one cares about that series anymore. But, and of course, Philip Seymour Hoffman is a supporting character in Hunger Games. He's not like Katniss or Peeta or Gale. No one cares about Gale either. So there it feels a little more so, like you're trying to drag out your thing. But I think in the case of The Dark Knight with Heath Ledger, he really is kind of the focus of the film. Like, it's funny, the Joker is what's actually driving most of the plot in that movie.
Batman's just kind of like
Joker
swooping in, like, wait, dude, you can't do that.
And I don't think that it's because he died that people talked about that performance. I think it's one of the best performances we've seen in decades. I think it's a stellar performance in The Dark Knight. So I feel like it was both. Okay, the trailer makers, I'm going to try and give them the benefit of the doubt. I think they saw this amazing performance, and I think they also saw how big his death was, and they put two and two together.
And
whereas I think people right now, probably literally right now, editing the Night Museum 3 trailers, I feel like that's more one-sided. No one's like, the brilliance of Robin Williams as Teddy Roosevelt in Night at the Museum 3. I don't think that's really quite their motive.
Yeah, and while we're also talking about celebrity deaths, we also have to talk about celebrities who played characters. Like, what the hell are you going to do with the new Batman v Superman series when eventually you have to bring up the Joker? What are you going to do?
Yeah, that is something to do with celebrity deaths. How are you going to deal with that?
But here's the thing, Sean. Now, Robin Williams wasn't a part of it, and Philip Seymour Hoffman was sort of a part of it. But we are, as we have both called it, we are in the franchise age, and the franchise age needs recurring characters. And with the deaths of celebrities sometimes happening out of nowhere, I mean, it can send everything out of balance. Like we have to remember that these people are also employed. They also have jobs. They are also even though these are celebrities we're talking about, they're still actors, they're musicians, they're all these things. And in the franchise age, they need to live. When they die, I feel like it's going to take a celebrity death to end the franchise age.
Actually, I came up with a theory on how the franchise age ends. That would make an excellent topic for next CinemaTalk. Thank you for suggesting that, actually. Because you reminded me, I did actually come up with a theory on how the franchise age is going to end. So that will be next time. How about that? On the note of Heath Ledger, though, one last thing. My first semester at MSU, at the film school, I was in a class, film and photo. It was a very kind of just generic, theory of film and photo class. It was okay class. But the very first lecture, we got in there, and the professor at the end of class, at the end of the first lecture, we were talking about just the power of film and stuff like that. The effect it can have. And that's why I want to end on this, because it is very related to just film in general, which is what our podcast and website is all about, and my life, because I have nothing else to be dedicated to. It's really sad. That she put on for us the interrogation scene from The Dark Knight. Well, probably Heath Ledger's best scene in the movie. Do you know the one I'm talking about, Max?
Yeah.
No, not that.
Not that one? Wait, you're talking about...
No.
Hold on. The interrogation scene is in the jail, or where he's
No, in the interrogation room with Batman.
Oh, okay. That one, yes. Where he's going to actually piss off Batman.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
He succeeds. So, he played that scene. And then, we watched the scene, the lights came back up, and my professor came up and she said, "Is Heath Ledger dead?" And then I was like, well, yes. But I just saw him.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is a good note to end on, because we're celebrity deaths. Most celebrities are somehow involved in the film or TV industry, it seems. There's music, but even then there's some crossover. It seems like almost every single celebrity has a presence in some visual medium.
Yeah.
And that's kind of...
what memorializes them.
Exactly. So, Michael Jackson's dead. But he has a bajillion music videos.
He got a brand new album that came out a few months ago.
Right. Heath Ledger's dead, but he has one of the most talked about performances of the past decade. Still incredibly popular film. He'll never just vanish. And then Philip Seymour Hoffman has a really, really impressive resume of movies he's been in. and awards and all that. And then Robin Williams, he's like the comedian almost.
Robin
Like,
Williams, I don't know if he's the comedian. I'd still say that's like somebody like, I don't know, Jerry Seinfeld or something, but he certainly is the childhood icon. He
through all his movies or his stand-up or anything.
They were very much like, a lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them were lighthearted. A lot of them were like enjoyable by anybody. And somebody that makes us laugh is going to make us cry when they go. And
yes, so that's kind of a good final point.
Yeah.
Celebrities die because they are people, but they're immortalized.
When
in all
celebrities
their work.
die, it's just the body.
Yes, so go watch The Dark Knight.
Go watch
Aladdin. I would say, Aladdin, I'm biased as my first. Yeah, it's my favorite Robin Williams movie. But that's the thing. If you're feeling sad about a celebrity death, realize that it's not like they're just gone off the face of the earth. They have a lot of legacy left behind, usually. And sometimes that legacy might not be good, but if you can get some enjoyment out of it, awesome. So that's going to be it for us on this slightly morbid, downer subject. Sorry
it's
if
only
this
a downer
wasn't
if you say it's downer, Sean. I don't know. I mean,
it wasn't like depressing, but yeah. Okay. That's going to be it for us. Thank you for watching. Tune in next time for, I think, Larry will be back.
Mm-hmm.
And how about this? We'll either do summer movie season, just kind of do a wrap up, because I feel like it's pretty much over. Or we'll do Death of the Franchise Age, because I have a theory that I would love to talk about, and those two, I'm sure, have their own theories on what's going to happen.
Still want to do my Star Wars Episode 7 speculation talk.
We will get there. Don't you worry, sir. We will get to Star Wars Episode 7.
Episode so is that the 7th channel on Stars?
That was weak. Trying to end on a high note, Max.
Okay.
Trying to end on a high note. Until Max makes another really bad joke, my name is Sean.
My name is Max.
And this has been CinemaTalk. Thank you for listening, and you'll hear us later. I was waving. You couldn't see it, but I was actually waving to the mic.
Got it, Sean!